They say you can imitate anybody. Even their voice. Even their voice.
Hello, I'm your host Mystical Blue, and welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos, where today I'll be taking you through Mystique solving the mystery behind her unique anatomy. Mystique, also known as Raven Darkholme, is the infamous shape-shifting mutant who has been around for ages in the X-Men universe. She first appeared in the Ms. Marvel comics in 1978 and later became a part of various organisations such as X-Factor, X-Men, and even the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. While Mystique has been quite a popular mutant who has also appeared across multiple comic storylines and X-Men movies, a lot of unique things about her physiology have never been covered in depth in the MCU today. We will explore the mystery behind her unique anatomy and tell you everything there is to know about Mystique's physiology and skills. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. She is a lot older than what people think. While Mystique isn't the most ancient mutant to exist, she's undoubtedly older than a lot of mutants, as she has been around for hundreds of years. While her exact age is unknown, Marvel has once described her as someone who was not born last night or even in the last century. This states that the shape-shifting mutant has to be at least 100 years old, and her body cells might not function at the same rate as humans or other mutants.
Your cells age at half the rate of a normal human. When you're 40, you'll still have the leukocytes of a teenager.
She appeared as a young woman in the early 1900s and was later seen in the same form in later storylines set in the 2000s. Her ability to manipulate her body cells in order to shapeshift also prolongs their life, and Mystique appears in the same form over numerous appearances. However, there is no concrete information regarding her exact age, but certainly she has been around for countless centuries. Mystique has one of the most amazing healing abilities. When Mystique gets injured during a face-off, she has the ability to heal her wounds and repair any damaged body tissues at a speedy rate. While her healing abilities are not as powerful as Deadpool or Wolverine, they are still quite impressive, and she combines them with her shape-shifting abilities to heal faster. Especially after being resurrected by the Hand, Mystique could use her abilities to change her body parts or even replace any injured limbs with tentacles or any other form of limbs that help her function better. If she concentrates enough and channelizes all her energy into her healing ability, then she can even regrow an entire limb if the situation is dire. She also uses her shape-shifting abilities to shift vital body parts such as her heart, lungs, or brains to dodge any sharp weapons or bullets aimed at these organs. Mystique's healing factor also makes her immune to any deadly toxins that are released in her surroundings. Moreover, she is immune to poisons or any human ailments.
Seal her over! Step away!
She can alter her cells and look like anyone instantly. Mystique has the ability to biologically alter her cells at will to duplicate the physical form of another human or even a humanoid. In this way, she could shapeshift into anyone else in just a moment. Mystique's ability to duplicate someone's cells is so precise that she can skillfully replicate someone's retina patterns into her own eyes, change her fingerprints to match those of another person, and even alter her voice to fit someone else's voice print.
Stryker, William.
There are no limitations to her abilities, and she can even assume the appearance of beings who are bigger than her in size. However, this does require Mystique to put in extra effort, and she feels tremendous strain while maintaining the appearance of a person who is physically bigger than her. After Mystique was exposed to radiation during a story arc, her appearance underwent a change, and she took on a more reptilian-like physique that gave her a scaly body. However, she soon morphed into her usual self and discovered that the radiation had boosted her abilities, and she could now alter her cells to gain talons, wings, or even sharp teeth. Besides humans, Mystique could take the form of various animal species, as well as other non-human beings. Moreover, Mystique could then compress herself to pass through two-dimensional planes and glide through air currents. Mystique could even shapeshift into the form of various metals, and once she mimicked the texture of Magneto's metallic body and helmet. In her usual form, Mystique is always naked, but but she uses her powers to make it seem like her skin is covered with some materials. She cannot change her DNA, even though she can change her appearance. While Mystique could shapeshift into other beings, she retained her DNA set and relied on her own capabilities and skills to mimic the actions of the beings she would shapeshift into. For instance, Mystique could shapeshift into Wolverine, but she could not really alter her DNA to gain Wolverine's claws made of adamantium. In most situations, Mystique skillfully managed to shapeshift and pass off as another person without being caught. She also had a lot of practice getting comfortable in other people's skin, and she adapted to the situations and the varied physiologies she morphed into.
What's the matter? I'll make you a hot chocolate.
In most cases, even the most powerful superheroes could not tell the difference between an actual being and Mystique's shape-shifting duplicate of the same person. However, there were limitations to how well she could act like them or adapt to their fighting styles, and certain beings, such as Wolverine, faced no difficulty figuring out Mystique's real identity. When Mystique once shape-shifted into Wolverine and got into a fight with him, she managed to mimic his fighting techniques so accurately that most heroes could not distinguish between her and the real Wolverine. However, since Mystique could not actually alter her DNA to attain Wolverine's powerful claws, he eventually defeated her when he sliced off her shape-shifted claws. Can she mimic the superpowers of people she looks like? While Mystique can assume the form of another superhero, she cannot mimic their powers since this lies beyond the scope of her abilities. While Mystique can change her appearance to look like a different person, she cannot even replicate their body mass, and she has to tweak her body density in order to take the form of a person bigger or smaller than her. Similarly, Mystique cannot inherit the powers of the person she shapeshifts into. Of course, Mystique does inherit a superhero's physical attributes, such as sharp claws or fangs when she shapeshifts. However, she cannot mimic their inherent powers or ability to use these physical attributes, and she relies on her knowledge and skills to mimic them in the best way possible. Additionally, any physical characteristics gained after shapeshifting are merely replications of the actual body parts made by using fabric or metal, and they always pale in comparison to the actual superhero's body parts. Is it extremely difficult to kill her off? Mystique can shift her body parts in order to dodge any fatalities that might result from bullets, knives, or any sharp weapons. In various instances, she shifts her essential organs such as her brain, heart, or lungs and moves them to her limbs or torso where there is a reduced risk of attack. In this way, it is quite difficult for her opponents to kill her, even if they try to aim for her head or heart. However, Mystique once died at the hands of the Dark Phoenix in the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie in 2019. Initially, Jennifer Lawrence was not supposed to return to play Mystique in this movie, but fans later realised that the movie was meant to show Mystique's death at the hands of Jean Grey, and a lot of publicity surrounding the film came from Mystique's brief appearance in it. While Jean Grey manages to kill Mystique early in the movie, her death timeline is a little flawed, and fans also feel that her death was not executed properly. When Mystique tries to calm Jean Grey while she's having a breakdown, Jean channels her energy in a telekinetic blast to throw Mystique away, and the mutant falls back into a pile of rubble. While Professor Xavier and the others watch the scene from afar, we see that Mystique tragically fell to the ground, where a sharp piece of broken wood impaled her through her chest. While Mystique can shift her organs to other parts of the body, she was caught off guard in this scenario, which explains why she died after getting impaled by a piece of wood when she had survived bullets to her head in some comic book scenarios. While Mystique's death was supposed to be an impactful scene that leaves a mark on the audience, it did not serve much purpose in the movie and was spoiled by the heavy marketing that hinted at this even months before the movie came out. Moreover, the Dark Phoenix movie's timeline was not in line with the rest of the X-Men movies, and there was a lot of confusion regarding the general continuity of this franchise. While Wolverine had been sent back in time to 1973 to prevent a robot apocalypse, all the events that were set to take place after 1973 had been wiped out from history. In this way, all the events that took place in the original X-Men differed from the new timeline. Mystique's death in the Dark Phoenix took place in 1992 in this new timeline, which explains why she still appeared in the X-Men movies in a different timeline. While her death is not contradicting her appearances in the other X-Men movies from different timelines, it surely breaks the continuity of the X-Men universe, and it was also deemed unnecessary since it did not have much impact on the movie's plot.
But what do you want?
Her love life is pretty diverse. Mystique likes both men and women. While the X-Men movies have omitted Mystique's bisexuality, the shape-shifting mutant had many relationships with both genders in the comics. In fact, Mystique was in a relationship with the mutant Irene Adler, also known as Destiny, for over 100 years in the X-Men comics. Mystique's character openly liked both men and women, and she especially had a close bond with Destiny. The two of them had been together since the beginning of Mystique's story arc, and initially their relationship was frowned upon by various authorities. The Comic Code Authority even asked the writer, Chris Claremont, to refrain from explaining the true nature of Mystique and Irene's relationship in the comics. However, Chris found a way to comment on their relationship by referring to Destiny as Mystique's leman, which is a rather old-fashioned word that means lover. Mystique and Destiny's love story was quite tragic right from the start, when Destiny fought rebelliously to break free from her old life and get together with Mystique. The two of them ran away together and travelled across the world for decades. In the present day, they have adopted the mutant Rogue as their daughter, and they even formed a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Destiny later learned that she would die at the hands of Legion in the future, and that her death would be instrumental for the mutants to be able to forge Krakoa. However, Mystique refused to lose her wife, and she somehow managed to resurrect Destiny, even if it meant going against the wishes of Charles Xavier, Magneto, and Moira X. After returning to life, Destiny glimpsed into various futures and realized that Mystique would not survive in even a single possibility. She then starts writing a diary in order to leave a final message for Mystique for the day she dies, and then asks her to promise not to read it till the time is right. Even though Destiny and Mystique had shared a relationship that lasted for over a century, they both knew they did not have the chance to live happily in the future. While Mystique saved Destiny from death, Destiny lived with the burden of knowing that Mystique would never survive in the future, even in a world where resurrection was a possibility. Is Mystique capable of reproducing? Mystique has mothered various children over the years, and she has a total of 4 sons and 1 adopted daughter. Mystique adopted Rogue with her longtime lover Irene Adler, and the two of them raised Rogue together in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Mystique's first son was called Graydon Creed, and he was a result of her relations with the mutant Sabretooth, also known as Victor Creed. While Mystique and Sabretooth were both mutants, Graydon grew up to be a normal human who despised mutants and wanted to erase them from Earth. Mystique is also the mother of the X-Man known as Nightcrawler, and he was the result of an affair with a mutant known as Azazel. Mystique had a child named Charles Xavier II with Charles Xavier, and this child only revealed himself in the future. She also had a special mutant child with Wolverine, and this child was named Ra's Darkholme. On an alternate Earth 797, Mystique had a daughter with Destiny, and they named her Anna Raven. Her special mutant child with Wolverine. While many newer X-Men movies revolve around Mystique, they have never mentioned Ra's Darkholme, who was Mystique's special child with Wolverine. Ra's was a mutant child who had acquired both his parents' abilities, and he first appeared in the X-Men Battle of the Atom comics in 2013. Ra's grew up to dislike all non-mutant life, and he made it his life's mission to get rid of all non-mutants on Earth and even bring all the mutants from the entire multiverse to Earth in order to make it a mutant paradise. However, this place was destroyed by a phoenix from a different reality. Ra's once disguised as the mutant Catherine Pride in order to get close to his father to bring him down, and he once even killed his own mother. After killing Mystique, Ra's used the shape-shifting abilities he had inherited from her to disguise himself as her. However, Charles Xavier ultimately figured out the truth behind Mystique's new form, and Ra's eventually joined Charles and the future Brotherhood. Besides inheriting Mystique's shape-shifting powers, he could also shift his scent, which was something that his mother father was initially incapable of. He could also shapeshift only certain parts of his body as per his wish, and even stretch or shrink his body at will. Moreover, Reyes had also inherited Wolverine's powers, such as regenerative healing, retractable claws, and so on. All about her super strength and martial arts skills. Mystique was quite in control of her bodily movements, and she also possessed supernatural strength. Her bodily control, paired with her strength, allowed her to perform high jumps and leaps, and she could even be considered a natural acrobat. Initially, Mystique had the ability to shapeshift, but her powers were boosted when she was exposed to radiation. Besides shapeshifting, Mystique could grow wings, talons, or even another head and arms so that she could wield more weapons at once. Mystique even gained the ability to create natural body armor, go beyond just human transformations, and even enable night vision. Mystique was also trained in various forms of martial arts, which made her an undefeatable opponent in hand-to-hand combat. Her ability to camouflage is incredible. While Mystique initially only had the ability to shapeshift, she gained various additional powers over the years. One of these powers included the ability to blend into her surroundings to hide from her opponents. Along with her powers, Mystique was also quite intelligent, and she always knew how to best use her powers in order to get out of difficult situations. She always managed to shapeshift in a way that would camouflage her from her opponents and make her near invisible. Does she have flight abilities? While Mystique does not explicitly possess the ability to fly, her shapeshifting powers enable her to adapt to her surroundings. She can grow gills in order to breathe underwater, and even grow wings in order to fly. While she cannot maintain these physical changes for a long time, Mystique can certainly fly for a short period of time. However, her ability to shapeshift depends on how much control she has over her body at the time, and these transformations can also be very painful to maintain for a long time. Mystique has a really strong mind. Since Mystique's body is constantly undergoing changes, her mind is always in a state of blur, and it is quite difficult to control her mind or establish a telepathic link with her. Whenever Mystique changes her physical form, it alters the grey matter of her brain and changes her psychic signature as well. Even if any telepath is trying to read her mind, they are unable to pinpoint her ever-changing psychic signature and lock it in. This makes it near impossible for anyone to read her mind, and Mystique cannot open her mind even if she volunteers. While her strong mind is a result of her powers, it can even be a curse at times, since Mystique herself has no control over her mind. Moreover, she also suffers from a type of disorder similar to bipolar disorder, since her mind's constant state of flux results in extreme mood swings and personality changes. In a way, her powers have resulted in a strange form of psychosis, and Mystique once even allowed the ninja Psylocke to use her Psy Sword to fix her mental disorder.
There's someone here.
Even Wolverine cannot pick up her smell. After Mystique was resurrected by the Hand, her powers were greatly enhanced, and she even gained the ability to hide her scent from other beings. In earlier storylines, Wolverine was capable of tracing her scent, and even other opponents could track her down from even a mile away. However, Mystique can now cloak her scent, or even change it in order to confuse her opponents and make herself completely untraceable. Mystique's ability to camouflage her and her newfound ability to alter her smell both ensure that she can become completely invisible to the world in all senses. Conclusion. To sum it up, Mystique is certainly one of the most intriguing mutants in the Marvel Universe. She has a wide range of powers stemming from her ability to shapeshift, and Mystique's abilities have constantly been upgrading over time, making her quite a powerful entity. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Oh look, you have heterochromia too.
Sorry, what?
Look at her eye.